think as well we're going to be getting Grayson Waller and Bron Breakker. Not tonight, in the future. So we've got that coming up also. But tonight is what we're focused on. And to be honest, I haven't seen a breakdown yet. I was literally just doing the Wrestling Escape Pod. So let's jump over to NXT and we'll find out what the breakdown is. Tonight on NXT, Tyler Bate is back. Tyler Bate is back. Get ready for Alba Fire taking on Sol Ruka as well. So apparently we've got that happening. Alba Fire against Sol Ruka. We've also got what will Gigi and JC have to say tonight. So that's following last week when they co-won that Battle Royal. We've also got NXT World Tag Team Champions Kofi and Xavier. They're going to be on the show tonight. What will Grayson and Bron Breakker have to say ahead of their upcoming steel cage clash at Vengeance Day? The Gallus boys are back in action when they take on Brooks and Briggs. So Jensen, Briggs and Jensen. They've actually written those names the wrong way round. So it's Jensen and Briggs. So we've got that. Tyler Bate is back tonight as well. We've also got Axiom and Apollo Cruz taking on Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. So we've got that coming up tonight also. So it's a pretty stacked show in all fairness. And Vengeance Day is February 4th. So February 4th for Vengeance Day. So plenty for us to get our teeth into tonight. So yeah, hope everyone is well. As we said, I think NXT most weeks now, our watch long is going to start about this time, about 10 minutes later than normal of the streams, because it just takes me so long to end the Wrestling Escape Pods and then get over here. And we always overrun with the Wrestling Escape Pods. So big thank you to everyone that sent in videos. And it is Royal Rumble predictions. So the Royal Rumble predictions on the Wrestling Escape Pod, that will go up tomorrow. And then we've done the normal Instagram review where we look at the pictures on Instagram. We've got that as a separate video. That'll go up, I think, probably Saturday. Probably Saturday. It's really fun as well. There's some really funny pictures this week. So, yeah, really good. I hope everyone is well. James said, hello, Daze, sir. Oh, you don't need to call me that, James. That's all right, mate. I hope you're well. Oh, that's very kind. Daze, sir. That is so polite. I've said this, and a lot of people don't believe me, but James Chadwick's one of the politest people that you will ever meet. He is so polite. Hello, Daze, sir. That's all right, mate. Honestly, you don't need to say that. So I think James just uses his bad language as a bit of a barrier. Once you actually get to know James and you kind of know him on more of like a deeper, more meaningful level, that's when he really comes out of his shell and is very respectful, very, very respectful. So yeah, James, shout out to you. James said, "Days, sir." Jim Radcliffe has held official talks with the Glazers to buy Man United. Okay, nice. Hopefully that sale goes through. It would be nice to see some investment coming into the club. In all fairness, the one thing I'll say about the Glazers, they have always put money into United or allowed United's money when it comes to the transfer market. It's just gone in completely the wrong directions. So, yeah, I mean, apparently the plans are back now for Old Trafford. So someone's going to have to make a decision, aren't they, soon as to what we're going to do with that. So very interesting. Dark Angel said, massive news is imminent. Oh, God, let's not play that game again. Massive news is imminent. Did Brian Alvarez actually ever drop the massive news, or is it still imminent? I think it might still be imminent. I don't know that it ever actually dropped his massive news, unfortunately. And I don't know, did we actually get ratings for last night's Raw come through at all as well? I thought last night's Raw was pretty good. to be honest. But I'm just having a look, and I don't think we've had that information come through. Normally, Brian Alvarez has that information, but I'm just having a quick look, and I can't see anything there at the moment. I'll keep an eye out for that. I am actually interested to know how Raw did, because as I said, I thought it was quite good this week. So it'd be interesting to know if the ratings reflected that. I'm sure next week will be good. What would it be in the 30th anniversary? Retribution, hello, hope you're well. My parents just came back. That's awesome news. Shout out to them. Seeb said, how come this week's review is a couple of minutes? I like the in-depth analysis like before. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it is shorter, of course, but it is also quite sped up. So I think it was like, there was a good chunk of stuff that was there that was sped up and fitted into 2 minutes, but it will be. I am looking at doing it for that length going forwards. It seems like people enjoy quick, short content rather than long form content. I mean, even with these streams, there's a good chunk of people that will stick around for all of them, but there's a good chunk of people, the vast majority, that will jump in, jump back out, maybe come back later, go back out again. The analytics tend to suggest that people, are constantly coming in and out of streams. So even these long streams, it's not like everyone sits here for like the whole 3-4 hours. Although there are people that do that. But yeah, with the reviews, they were an hour long, and it seemed like people jumped in, jumped back out. But even for the 20 odd minutes, it seems like that's what people were doing. Average watch time tends to clock in at around about 3 minutes or so. So you sort of look at it and go, well, the majority of people are only watching for like 3 minutes. So why am I doing a 20-minute video? I think The Rock is going to come back, said Joseph. There's been a load of spoilers. There is now a tease to get The Rock back, build a story for Roman, and we say goodbye to one of the belts. I think The Rock will come back. I haven't seen any spoilers in regards to that. But, yeah, I mean, the only thing I've seen is that apparently he was in discussion to win the Rumble not long ago. But then Dave Meltzer said the other day that apparently they still didn't have it confirmed that The Rock was going to be actually main event in WrestleMania. So we spoke about it on last night's Raw, the fact that they must surely know. I think they know. But Dave Meltzer, the last I saw from him was him saying that he'd been told that it still wasn't confirmed. They still didn't know what if The Rock was going to be there or not. I think he is. I think he will. I will be shocked if we don't get Rock Roman this year. I will be absolutely shocked. I think that if you're going to do WrestleMania in Hollywood, I think you've got to have The Rock there. You've got to. And I think The Rock is getting older. I think it's getting harder for him to wrestle. I mean, when he faced John Cena like 10 years ago, it's amazing, isn't it? It's been 10 years. But when he faced John Cena 10 years ago, I think he tore his pectoral muscle. He did some real damage during that match. And, that was 10 years ago. So his body is at the point where it's struggling to take that sort of punishment. He can do the working out, right? He's obviously got a good routine. He knows what he's doing. I'm pretty sure there's probably drugs involved. But he is quite comfortable in that world. But when it comes to actual wrestling and doing and receiving wrestling moves, injury is probably quite likely. And actually, that might be a concern for him, to be honest. That could be a real concern. Not only is it like having the time to do WrestleMania, but then, any subsequent injury, what effect is that going to have on forthcoming projects? So that probably is something that he's having to take into consideration. But I just think I don't want to say now or never, because you could always do WrestleMania 41, WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania 41. Like, you could always do one of those. But in Hollywood, it definitely feels special. It definitely feels like this is the time to do it. So yeah, I won't say now or never, but it's not getting easier for him. It's only going to be getting harder. So yeah, I think he'll be there. They need to give Cody a belt, said Kieran. This is the best time to build him. Come in red hot. Come back red hot. It's going to put someone over. You put someone over that's there, not a veteran. Well, you can still have Cody win him. I mean, yeah, Cody needs to win the belt this year. For me, he doesn't need to win it at the Rumble. He doesn't need to win it at WrestleMania. I actually think it's better if he doesn't, because I think if he comes back and goes on to win at WrestleMania, it's very predictable. I think that if you actually have him lose at WrestleMania and put an obstacle in his way, I think that makes the story a bit more interesting. It's another barrier that maybe some of the fans wouldn't have been expecting. It might even plant some seeds of doubt that are they actually going to put the belt on him? And it would be brilliant then if there was some rumors that would come out saying Vince has changed his mind on Cody. I think that would be brilliant. That would be brilliant. Certainly if that's not true. Because then the fans would be upset and the fans would get behind Cody even more. And then eventually you go and put the belt on him at SummerSlam. So it's very much what we did with Daniel Bryan. So Daniel Bryan kept getting opportunities at the belts in the 12 months before WrestleMania 30. And even at SummerSlam the year before, he actually won the title. And then if you remember, he got cashed in on immediately. So he manages to beat John Cena at SummerSlam 2013. And then immediately Randy Orton comes down and cashes in on him. And so you get that moment. He's done it. He's reached the mountaintop. And literally a few moments later, it's taken away from him. And apparently that was Daniel Bryan's request. Daniel Bryan actually said, I want you to keep screwing me over, keep cheating me out of the title, keep finding different ways for me to not win. Apparently Triple H, WWE were quite happy to put the belt on him in 2013, but it was Daniel Bryan that kept saying, keep screwing me over, keep cheating me over, keep making me wait, keep building it up, because he knew that when he finally got his hands on it, it would be an even bigger moment. And it was huge, it was massive, and it was brilliant. And I would do the same with Cody. I mean, it worked for Daniel Bryan. It would work for Cody as well. The only thing I would say is that, yes, it would be a shame to not put the belt on him at WrestleMania, but SummerSlam is now a big show. I mean, WrestleMania is bigger. There's more people there and the name is bigger, but SummerSlam these days is a stadium show. It is a stadium show. It's not an arena show. It's not like we're in front of 16,000. We're still in front of 40, 50, 60,000 people, even at SummerSlam. So I would be tempted to wait until SummerSlam. I think the injury it's robbed us of 6 months build or so, and I think that's a bit of a shame, because we could have been doing he's going to get there, he's going to cash in, but he just falls short. We could have been doing all of that, but we've been robbed of that, unfortunately. So I would be really tempted to have Cody win the Rumble, go to WrestleMania, and fail. I would actually, I tell you what I would do. I would have Cody win the Rumble, and then he would end up challenging, say, Seth for the title between now and WrestleMania. I would have Roman lose one of the belts. Someone said in the chat the other day about having The Rock cost Roman one of the titles. And I really like that. So say The Rock costs Roman the WWE title. And so that, say, goes to Seth Rollins, right? So Seth is the champion. He then has to defend against Cody at WrestleMania. I would have Seth retain. And what I love about that is it makes you wait a bit longer for Cody to get the belts, but it also gives Seth a win over Cody, which he really needs because he lost 3 times last year. And I think people would be expecting Cody to win. And so it's a bit of a swerve because it's, you know, it's WrestleMania. It's meant to be. Everyone's going to be expecting it. And it doesn't happen. Love it, right? Then what you do is you have Rock versus Roman. And then you go to SummerSlam. And then you do Roman versus Cody. Roman would still be, not undefeated because he would have lost that title, but he would have lost the WWE one to Seth. But he would have lost it because of The Rock, right? He's still not been beaten clean, right? And that's where you do the win for Cody. So Cody gets the Universal title off Roman. And what I like about that as well is that Cody can still say, I love the Universal title. I love the fact I'm the Universal Champion. But this is still not the belt my daddy tried to get. This is still not the belt that Dusty wanted. You know, I've got to get my hands. And that gives us another thing to go for in 2024. So, you know, he manages to reach a mountaintop in 2023, right? He finally gets there, but it's still not the one that he wants. And that gives us something else to work for in the future. So I love that. We're really putting some barriers in his place. It's going to be more meaningful when he gets there. He ends up being the one that not only gets a world title, a major title, but he's the one that finally beats Roman clean. He's the one that ends that historic Universal Championship title reign, by which point we would have been over 1,000 days with that Universal Championship reign. Cody gets it, and it still gives him something to go for in 2024. That, to me, is a much better story, has got more facets to it than Cody goes to WrestleMania and wins. Some people annoy me for saying the same thing over. The mods are awesome, says Jilly. Love the mods. Shout out to the mods. And the rockers. Shout out to the rockers as well. Right, we've got half an hour to go. Yeah, feel free to let me know what you're expecting tonight from NXT, what you're expecting from Vengeance Day. If we can bring things back to NXT, then obviously that would be nice. Tiffany Stratton, of course, is back, and we are expecting to see her on the show tonight, which will be good. So Tiffany Stratton is someone that I think really resonates with certain people. I haven't seen loads of her because she came in when I wasn't really watching NXT. And so I haven't seen loads of Tiffany Stratton, but I did see her in that match against Wendy Chu, which was, I can't remember what that was. It was like a no DQ. I was going to say it was a lights out match, but I don't know that it was. But it was like a no DQ thing, and there was weapons and everything involved. And it was pretty good. It was pretty entertaining, actually. Considering when you look at her, you just see a bit of a, I don't want to say a dumb blonde, right? Because that's a bit disrespectful. But it sort of is what you see as well. And I think that sort of is the character, in all fairness. So we're not throwing shade at her as a person. Let's get this clear, right? We're not throwing shade at her as a person. We're talking about her character. I think her character is meant to be a bit of a dumb blonde. Kind of daddy's money, all that kind of stuff. Considering that's what her character is and the kind of stereotypes that would maybe be associated with that character, where maybe you think she's being handed everything, she doesn't really try, she's never had a job in her life, kind of that kind of vibe. Her match was actually really, really good. And she seems to have really caught people's attention. So yeah, I'm interested to see what we can do with her now that she's back. Hopefully we get Chase U and our favorite girl, Thea, says Chris. Yes. Yes. Royal Rumble better be a good surprise, says Miguel. I still want Asuka and Wendy Chu to team up to form Team Achu, said Dark Angel. Well, I'm looking forward to Asuka coming back because it's another week we haven't seen Asuka. She's been away a while now. They've given us some time away. I mean, to my knowledge, she's not injured. She's gone back to Japan, and she is looking for something. I don't think that's the real reason why she's gone back, but I think she is looking for something while she's there. And it's heavily teased that she's going to come back darker. She's coming back as a darker character. The only thing I would say is that it's a little bit bad timing, what with Alexa also turning dark. But I'll tell you what I was thinking last night. I was thinking that if you actually look at the first time that we see the Bray logo interfere with Alexa, Asuka was there as well. And actually quite a few times that the Bray logo has shown up, not every time, but certainly in the early stages, when the logo showed up, it was Asuka and Alexa. And you might remember there was that one moment where Asuka held Lily and she acted really serious for a moment. And I just think that maybe you could, if you wanted to, use that as an explanation as to why when Asuka returns, if she returns and she is dark and moody, right, which I think a lot of us are hoping for, you could maybe use that as the explanation. And you could use that to say this is why it's happened. Because she was around when the logo was showing. That's clearly had an effect on Alexa. I understand Alexa has had some more experiences when Asuka's not been around. I do understand that. But the seeds of the change may have been sowed early. And Asuka was always around for those. She was backstage at Crown Jewel with Alexa when the first one was shown. Then I think the second one is when they were on Raw and they came walking down to the ring. And it was actually shown on the Titantron. So Asuka was there for that one as well. And then, as we said, the Lily moment would be another example as to where Asuka was influenced. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to Asuka coming back. And could be really, really fun. Could be really fun. 2023 could be a great year for Asuka. And honestly, it needs to be. It's been too long since Asuka was feared, since people really respect. I think the respect is there. But I mean, like, she's never main evented WrestleMania, right? She's never even been close or in the conversation to main event WrestleMania. I think that's really disappointing because in my mind, as I've said many times before, she is my favorite female of all time in WWE. I think she is the GOAT. I think she is the greatest female in WWE history. And but she just doesn't get treated like it. And I do understand that promos are important. And you can say, well, as great as she is in ring, her command of English is quite limited. But I still think that even with the promos segments, she still manages to dance around and entertain. She can still put a smile on my face, even though she can't engage in the types of promos that we saw from Becky and Bayley last night. And I agree that has counted against her. I think if she could engage in those kinds of promos, then I think there would be a chance that she would be getting to those WrestleMania main events. Quad Humbus 2466 Alex. Hope you are well, my friend. Shout out to you. Sean said, what if Asuka falls under the influence of Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss resists Uncle Howdy and instead becomes Miss Bliss again? Yeah, I mean, I don't think she will, just because I think that story has already been told or is in the process of being told. It's going to be hard to see Alexa manage to resist Uncle Howdy, and that's it, you know? She manages to resist, and that's it, end of story. It sort of feels like this is a process. It seems like she's really struggling to keep herself on the straight and narrow, if you will. It feels like his influence is growing on her, unless there's going to be something quite drastic that's going to change that. I sort of think that it's inevitable that she's going to fall under his control. So, yeah, I think it would be a case of maybe he's not interested in having Asuka as well, but it still doesn't mean that Asuka hasn't been influenced by Uncle Howdy. and hasn't changed as a result of being exposed to Uncle Howdy's tactics or whatever it was that he used to recruit Alexa. I think that Lily Doll sales and Bray being back and the previous relationship of Alexa and Bray, I think it just means that Alexa is definitely moving to that darker side. I can't see her going back to Little Miss Bliss right now. At some point she might. The goddess. You know, we might go back to that at some point, but I think at the moment, I think it's probably going to be that she's going to go back to like Playground Alexa. Tell me I need to change my name back to what it was before, said Alex. I swear to God, if Vince was here right now, I would go mad at Vince, said Joseph. Vince McMahon will buy Daze. Alexa's resistance could set up Bliss versus Asuka. Yeah, it could. The only thing I would say is if Asuka comes back more moody, I don't know if she comes back as a face or a heel. I would hope that she would be coming back as a face and like a cool face. But if she is going to be coming back moody, just beating people up, I suppose you could come back a bit stone cold, but you do run that risk of being seen as a heel. So I don't know if that would be heel versus heel, but saying that, they've just booked Judgment Day against Usos, so that's heel versus heel. They've just booked Bobby Lashley against Austin Theory, which, I mean, Bobby, I think, is a heel following what he did to Brock. I'm not 100% certain, to be honest, but I think he's a heel at the moment. But it seems like heel versus heel is maybe not the big problem that it used to be for WWE. Back in the day, they wouldn't be interested in booking heel versus heel. So who knows? Even if Asuka does kind of turn to that dark side and is a heel, yeah, we could still end up getting her against Alexa. Because the rumors are that Alexa is being positioned as a heel. Like they are looking to make her the heel. And I don't think anyone would deny that Bianca is the face in that feud. So Alexa, attacking Bianca with the flowers and all that kind of stuff. Like she is being positioned as a heel at the moment. But yeah, it's interesting. I enjoyed the back and forth last night between Bianca and Alexa and the match setting up the Rumble. Yeah, I agree, Julie. I thought it was good. Iania said, Daze, what do you think of Bianca going into a storyline about her hair? So her hair has like a mind of its own. Imagine she is in the ring and all of a sudden it goes everywhere and hits someone like Asuka. I mean, that would be supernatural, wouldn't it? And so it wouldn't be up my street. I don't know. I don't know if there would be a market for that. I sort of feel like that wouldn't be one that would be interesting to me. I'm sure there'd be someone that would be into it, though. James said, Daze. Hey, we've lost the sir, but that's all right. United are in talks to sign Dumfries for 35 million. That would be a good signing. Yeah, that would be a good signing. 35 million. It's quite a bit of money, though, isn't it? But in all fairness, we do need that position sorting. So if you spend it now, why not spend it now? Because you're only going to have to spend it in the summer anyway. So, yeah, good signing. Joseph said, have you been to Rome before? No. What is it? What's like? I have never been before to Raw. Rome or Raw? Rome or Raw? I've never been to Rome. I've been to Italy, but I've never been to Rome. Have I been to Raw? I've been to Raw, and it is a little strange, actually. If you ever go to Raw, the one thing, actually, Raw or a house show, the one thing that really stands out, no commentary. And it's not something that you ever think about. You never think about it. When you go to the show, you never think like, is there going to be commentary or whatever? But obviously there isn't. So when you get there, it's like they bring the wrestlers out, the wrestlers come down, and then you watch, and all you can hear is just the sound of the bumps And sometimes the wrestlers will shout something out to the crowds, right? But obviously they're not going to be shouting out loads during the match. They do get on the microphone. Like there are obviously like promos, and then like some, what you might get at a house show is a heel will come out. They'll start laying into the crowd, laying into the local team, laying into the food, laying into the area, calling people bums, all this kind of stuff. And then someone's music will hit a babyface and they'll come down and start beating them up. So, you'll get things like that. But, with Raw and with house shows, one of the big things I think that hits you is the fact there's no commentary. You just know, you never think about it. You never think about no commentary, but like you do just sit there, and the majority of it, it's just boof, boof, like the sound of people hitting the mat as they're being slammed onto it, taking bumps. But I just do commentary in my head, to be honest. When I just thought it's a bit like when you watch a world cinema film and you're reading subtitles. It's a little strange at first, but you just get used to it. And I think like when you go and watch a house show or Raw or something, like it's a bit weird at first, but then you just get used to it. But before they go live, they do say like, we're about to go live, make some noise. It will be live in 5 seconds. Start making some noise. And so like people will start cheering, and then the pyro will go off, and the Raw logo will come onto the screen, and like everyone's cheering away, and then you just go obviously into the show. The other thing as well actually is when someone comes down to the ring. So say you've got Asuka. So Asuka's musical hit. She'll come down to the ring, right? And then like on TV, we go to a commercial break. What they'll do is they will end Asuka's music. Asuka will be in the ring. So we might go to commercial break with Asuka coming down to the ring. She gets into the ring. She's dancing away, right? When we come back from commercial break, Asuka's music is still playing, and she's in the corner still having a little dance. She won't have been dancing for the whole commercial break. What they'll do is as soon as we're off the air, they'll cut the music. Asuka will stop dancing, right? And then they'll say, right, guys, we're about to come back from commercial break. Make some noise in 5 seconds. And then the crowd will start cheering. And then Asuka will start, like the music will start again. And Asuka will start dancing again. Or at least that's what they've done when I've been to Raws. If ever you go to commercial break, they do just stop everything. And then they restart it basically when we come back from commercial break. So what Asuka will do, she won't like just dance and then just suddenly stop. Like she'll dance and then like maybe she'll go over and like wave to someone in the crowd or whatever. So it doesn't look awkward. It's not like, it doesn't look like weirds. It's just that she won't be dancing all throughout the break. I would imagine a lot of people probably already knew that she didn't dance all throughout the break, or that they didn't play the music all throughout the break. But just again, one of those things you don't think about. You just don't think about it when you go to commercial break. You just don't tend to think about it. Trish, Lita, Beth, Molly Holly, Kelly, Michelle McCall, Bella's are usual suspects for a women's Rumble. Kian said, are you excited for the Rumble? I'm going to watch the stream with you guys. I'm going to watch it on TV. Very excited. Yeah, Royal Rumble is one of my absolute favorite premium live events. I'm sure it's one of yours as well. I'm very excited. Who doesn't get excited for the Rumble? I think there's lots of potential this year as well because of it being a Triple H Rumble for surprises that we don't normally get. I also think that Cody coming back is, looking pretty good. Naomi coming back, I think there's a good chance of that. So I think not only do we get some surprises as in old legends and whatever, but I think returning superstars. And, of course, you've got The Rock hanging over us as well. There's every chance he could make an appearance. So, yeah, Rumble this year I think is going to be a lot of fun. Joseph said, I meant Raw. I'm going to go on June 29th. I'm nervous. I'm not used to being around that many people. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I mean, just nothing to be nervous about, is there? What is there to be nervous about? No one's going to talk to you unless you necessarily talk to them, apart from the people that need to see your tickets or if you go to buy a drink or whatever. So Nothing to be nervous about. What do you think the chances are of Nia Jax Naomi being on the show for the acknowledgement segment? I think low. I think low for Naomi, unless they bring her back next week and she uses it to announce she's going to be in the Rumble. But I think low, because to be honest, Naomi being in that segment is going to really distract during that segment. Like, she has been away. Her coming back in that segment, I think, would be a distraction. She is part of the Bloodline, of course, because she is married to Jimmy, but she's only a member through marriage, which, you know, is still obviously binding, but I don't know. I mean, like, I was going to say she's not blood because she married into it. So I sort of think, like, we don't need, to be honest, that segment, it doesn't need her, right? What it needs is it needs Rikishi. It needs the Wild Samoans. It could really do with The Rock, right? But it needs those guys. Naomi doesn't bring anything to that segment. All she brings is distraction. So I wouldn't have her in it. I would save her for the Rumble if she's coming back. In regards to Nia Jax, she is also a bit of a distraction because of the fact that she has been released and now she'd be back. But to be honest, I don't think she'd be that big of a distraction, because I sort of feel like people would go, is that Nia? Oh, Nia's here. And then literally after a few moments later, everyone's attention will turn to Roman. Whereas with Naomi, it's a little bit different, because you're going to look to see, how is she really into this? How's she responding? How's she reacting? I sort of feel like it was such a high profile way that she went out. We've been waiting for her to return for so long. I sort of feel like that would be a bigger distraction that's just not needed. It's not needed. And you could really make the argument Nia Jax isn't needed in that segment as well. So I'm going to say quite low. I think it's be quite low that they'll be in it. I don't think they need to be in it. Obviously, I said before, said Kieran, that I might go to Money in the Bank, but I got to be straight saving money up for the money, said Kieran. Will the pitch black match be cinematic, says Aaron. Aaron, hello, buds. Hope you're well, mate. I think that elements of it, I think, could be. Unless they're going to do a bit of... I think there's maybe a chance that it's in the ring and that they use people under the ring. So, for example, if we're going to get The Fiend, there's every chance that Bray is not in that costume. So, you know, it could be a case that LA Knight is fighting with Bray and then he goes into this pitch black area, and then the next moments later, it's The Fiend that emerges. How they do it is by switching people from underneath the ring and doing it that way. So, you know, The Fiend, Howdy, both of those don't need to be Bray. What you could do is you could have Bray, then you switch it to The Fiend, then you switch it to Howdy, and then that gives Bray loads of time under the ring to change into Funhouse Bray or change into Eater of Worlds Bray somehow. You know, he can change from his one look into a different look whilst LA Knight is dealing with Fiend, dealing with Howdy, so on. So there is a way of doing it that doesn't need to be cinematic. Equally, there's every chance this match could start backstage and end up coming out into the arena. I don't think, because it's a Rumble and because there's so many people that are there, I don't think they're going to do it cinematic. I don't think they will. But saying that, we've seen, you know, they did cinematic stuff for, say, WrestleMania with the Backlot Brawl. They did cinematic for the House of Horrors match. So we have seen them do cinematic stuff, but I think both of those examples were done with arenas and not stadiums. Like, really, if you've got a stadium that's got like 60, 70,000 people, I don't think you're going to want that whole stadium just watching monitors and screens. So I think it's unlikely that there's going to be cinematic, that it'll be cinematic. I think it'll probably be more like what we just spoke about. I don't care who it is. I am taking number 21 in the men's rumble and number 13 in the women's, says Hawkins Jr. Gio said, do you ever see Naomi and Tamina reunion as a tag team? They could do. I think there's a really good chance that we are going to be getting Naomi back in WWE. If she comes back, what are we going to do with her? I like the idea of her joining the Bloodline, but will there even be a Bloodline for her to join? Because we don't know what the future looks like for the Bloodline. And we don't know how long the Bloodline's going to be around for. So you could put her with the Bloodline, but the Bloodline might not be a thing. So then we're going to need to do something else with her. She's not someone that I think they're going to put a title on anytime soon. She walked out, right? But not only that, she's been with the company so long. She's basically like Natalya now. She's that steady hand that's capable of a decent match that all the fans know and like. And she's steady. She's solid. She's half of a tag team. She's someone that a new girl from NXT can go up against and get a victory over. That's Naomi. And that's Natalya in 2023. Are they world champions in 2023? I don't think so. I think you could do it. They're always steady hands, and the fans will always be fine to see them get a belt. But their reigns, I think, would always be as like transitional champions, like getting the belt from one person to another, and not like long title reigns. So I sort of look at Naomi and think, well, yeah, you can just use her in that way. One of the other ways you can use her is part of a tag team. Would they put her with Tamina? Well, you've always got to find something for Tamina to do. So, yeah. I think there's a chance you could always get them going back into a tag team. Daze, how many notebooks do you go through in a year? Do you keep the used ones? I do keep the used ones. I only keep them. I'll tell you why I keep them. I keep them because how many do I get through? Well, here's an example of like ones that I've got that 24/7. That say 24/7 thought? I don't even know what these are. Bailey, Lacey Evans, rumors WrestleMania will be Bailey, Sasha Banks, predictions for something. Don't know what else we've got. Days, Tommy predictions. I don't know, it's just loads of stuff in here. Look, page after page. Every page has got something on it. So there's that one. Then there's another one. These are UFC predictions. That's why I keep them. There's UFC 271, Adesanya, Whitaker. Those are my notes for UFC 271. And it's just loads. And there's just loads more here. I probably get through, I don't know, in a year, probably get through about 5 pads, I reckon, in a year. And other little bits. To be honest, a lot I write down digitally. I just can't get in the habit of writing down my UFC notes digitally. I really can't do that. I always like to have it in front of me. And actually, I've got a page here ready for when I do the review. So like, there's more from just the other week. So yeah, I probably get through about 5 notepads, just constantly writing, constantly jotting stuff down. And what I did look into, I should do it as well. You can get a notepad and a pen so that when you actually write on it, it automatically sends the information and makes it digital. Like, that'd be so useful for me. In fact, I can't even sit here and tell you why I've not looked into that yet. I can't sit here years and years and years. I've done it this way. But there is a pad that you can buy that you write it down and it stores it as a digital thing. I think it's something to do with the pen. I think the pen is quite special, and then it like transmits it over to the computer. I need to look into that. That's quite high on my jobs list at the moment. It's a lot of work running a successful channel. Daze is pro what he does. Jilly, shout out to you. Daze is OCD, said Tony. I don't think it's that. I don't think it is OCD. I don't think I suffer from that. I think certainly I don't do like lights or anything along those lines. But I need. I suppose it's not OCD. It's routine. I suppose that's what it is. Like I always have to have notes in front of me. I think it's mainly because when I'm streaming, I don't want to be like clicking on things I don't really want to be messing with the computer too much. It's why we don't bring in loads of like looking at different websites and stuff. I think what it comes down to is I know my Wi-Fi is not very good. My Wi-Fi is not great. Is that we know that like lag can hit these streams quite often. So if I can not mess with my computer whilst we're streaming, I try to not do that. Hence why having it actually written down in front of me is the preferred way. So I think that's what it comes down to more than anything else. Is I just don't want my stream crashing, which I think makes sense. Right, we are very close to starting with the show. We are a couple of minutes away, and we'll be going over to this week's NXT. And Hasib made an excellent point earlier about the reviews. The other benefit of doing the reviews shorter is not only did the analytics seem to show that people didn't watch the whole thing, which is understandable. So I must admit, when I watch videos, I don't watch like 20-odd minute videos. I tend to watch a little bit, get what I need. Because normally, like, the bits you want, normally are, in there. You either skip a bit, like if it's a long intro or whatever, and get to the bit you want. Because with YouTube in particular, when you go onto a video, it shows you the most watched parts of the video, doesn't it? And so I tend to just skip to those bits because in my mind, that's where the key information is that I was looking for anyway. So rather than sitting and watching 20 minutes, it seemed to suggest that around 3 minutes is what people were watching, which I think I read somewhere is the average view time for a YouTube video. So making the reviews 2 minutes, 20 odds should mean that, people then can enjoy the whole thing. But also, what with it being that length, it means I can take that video, put it on Instagram, and also put it on TikTok, and also potentially put it on Twitter if I wanted to. Having shorter video forms gives you a lot more flexibility. So that is why I am now currently definitely looking at having the reviews shorter for those reasons. For anyone that was wondering. Right, here we go then. And we will do the review for NXT. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I must admit, people don't seem to be that bothered about the reviews for NXT. They never tend to do, really very well. But I want to get in the habit of doing them. Right, we are just looking at last week's show with Chase University. Introducing us to the show last week was pretty cool. Last week was New Year's Evil, wasn't it? It was a big show last week, actually. We're going to struggle to maintain that this week, but give it a good go. Let's see what we've got. Would you like to see Billy Kay in the Rumble? I would love to see Billy Kay in the Rumble. I would go as far as to say that if I could have just one surprise in the Rumble, it would be Billy Kay. I love Billy Kay. I think comedy is so hard to do in wrestling. I have a real appreciation for people that can do good comedy in wrestling. I think R-Truth is a great example of that. I think the Acclaimed with their raps at the start are a great example of that. I think Sammy is a great example of that. I think if you can do genuine comedy that's actually funny in wrestling, I think that's a real skill. Because I think there's so many that try and fail, to be honest. I think there's a lot of people that try at being funny and can't do it. And I think Billie Kay was one of the best. I thought she was so funny. I thought she was so good. With her resume was brilliant. Where are you joking me? Backstage when she would do the interviews, a little catchphrase. I thought that was brilliant. I thought when she was with the Riot Squad, and so she wanted to fit in, so she started acting punk. I thought that was brilliant. I just think she's naturally charismatic and funny. So, yeah, if I could have one surprise, I'd love Billie Kay to come back, and hopefully she could do something funny in the Rumble. Right, we're still watching last week and the highlights of last week. Right, here we go then. We are going over to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. They are coming down to the ring. They are going to be taking on Axiom. I don't know, what have we got here? Carmelo. And is that Trick in a mask? Oh, it's Trick taking the mick out of Axiom. So Trick comes out, taking the mick out of Axiom. So Trick and Carmelo versus Axiom and... Daze, you should check out MMA on Points video about kickboxing in MMA, says Nate. Okay. Gunther should be a babyface that respects wrestling. That's true. I don't understand why people boo him, to be honest. I really don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I feel it's because Imperium probably get involved. But I feel like that's so old. I feel like so many people cheat. Even baby faces have cheated. Like, do you remember Cody grabbing a handful of tights during that second match that he had with Seth? So Seth tried to cheat Cody. Cody reversed it, and he ended up cheating against Seth. And Liv tapped out. She was a face, weren't she, at SummerSlam? She didn't say, no, it's true, I did tap out and give up the title. She was like, I'm not bothered. So I sort of feel like, you get faces that cheat, but, if Gunther cheats, it's a big problem. I love him. I mean, that guy just legit has banger after banger. Here's Apollo. Carmelo and Trick versus Apollo and Axiom. I wish Axiom would lose the mask. I don't think he needs it. I don't think he needs... we've said it before. Masks are such a problem because you just can't see their face expressions, and it makes selling a lot harder. And it really... You lose a lot. There's a lot of information, a lot of body language that obviously comes from being able to see someone's face, and you lose all of that when it's completely covered over. So, I don't know, I just sort of feel like it'd be better if he wasn't in the mask. Or, if you want him to wear a mask, that's fine, but do Rey Mysterio where you can still see a good chunk of the face. It's interesting, actually. If you think about Uncle Howdy, when he attacked Bray, this part of his face was exposed. Very like Undertaker when he broke his orbital bone, or Kane. I mean, they made the change to Kane. Kane had a full face mask, and they changed it so that you could see this part of his face. And Uncle Howdy as well has got this part at least exposed. So, if you are going to have a mask, at least have part of it exposed so that you can see, the selling. Daze, do you think we'll see Rey lose his mask at Mania if he wrestles Big Dom? Oh, I think it's the only thing that he would take his mask off for now. And eventually, he should do it. But if he's going to do it, that's it, isn't it? That's interesting, that is. I feel like that would be the end of Rey then. Unless he's going to have a little run like he did at the end of WCW without the mask on. Which he could do. He could do, but that mask is so important to his brand. It would give him a new lease of life, in all fairness. And if this really is the end, but it's got to be the end, innit? I mean, I don't think you can really go back to putting the mask back on and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it will happen. I don't think he's close to retiring. And I think that's kind of the sort of thing you would do if you're ready to retire. So, yeah, I'm going to say no. But if he was going to do it, like losing it to Dominic, I think is why he would. Lovely drop kick by Apollo. How would you feel about Edge versus Bray at Mania? I would be worried. I'd be worried because I think Bray needs to win at WrestleMania. And so if he faces Edge, I mean, first of all, why are we doing the match? We would need to build, and we haven't got loads of time. I mean, there's probably enough time if you do some at the Rumble or straight after the Rumble. It'll give you a little bit, but I don't know. There's not loads of time. But as I said, there's probably enough of a window. But the thing with Bray is that, it's all about story and all this kind of stuff. I sort of feel like him and Howdy makes sense. Or, you finish the feud with LA Knight at WrestleMania. Starting something new with Edge, as I said, it'd be quite close. Be quite tight. And also, I think he needs to win. Bray needs a WrestleMania win. If he retires, Big Dom could take the mask and become Rey Mysterio Jr. Rey Mysterio Jr. Love it. He could be Rey Mysterio Super Jr. If you've not seen his face, then look it up, said Shaquem. NXT looks good, said David. Well, we are at commercial break right now. So 10 minutes into NXT, and we are at commercial break. Not a bad little match between these two teams at the moment. So we are up and running, but nothing to report, really, to be honest. Just a fun little opener at the moment. I think this is definitely an NXT that's going to be a bit quieter. But saying that, we've got to build Vengeance Day. Vengeance Day isn't that far away. It's only a few weeks away. We've got to build Vengeance Day. So I am hoping that there'll be some interesting twists and turns. And apparently we are getting the New Day on this show. So maybe there could be something tasty in that segment. Dark Angel said, Rey unmasking has been a few times. Not in WWE. I mean, I'm not aware. I mean, they have took his mask off and then he's covered his face. But, I mean, there's only the WCW one that I can think of. I mean, whether they did something in ECW, I don't know. Or AAA or something like that, I don't know. But WCW is the only one I'm aware of. But that's, that was a long time ago now. And I can't remember them doing anything in WWE. That's why I think if you're going to do it, it's going to be a big moment. It's going to be a big, big moment. And it's something that you could only do once. Because obviously, it loses its impact after that. But I think it would have impact now. If you took it, if you did it, you would have those smart marks. Those marks that would be like, it doesn't matter. He took his mask off back in the late 90s in WCW. That's over 20 years ago. It does matter. It does matter. It does matter. That was over 20 years ago in a different company, right? Wrestling is in a very different place now, yeah? This is not the Attitude Era. It does matter. So it would be impactful. It would matter. It would be a big deal. And I think if he's going to do it, he should. The Dominic thing makes sense. So I like that, Wrestle with Andy. I like that. James, sir, Chadwick said, who would you rather see, Billy Kay or Bull Nakano? Billy Kay. Bull Nakano would be fantastic, right? The only thing is, and this is going to sound super selfish, right? Which is fine because I am. She looks nothing like she used to look. You could bring her out now and people would be like, who's that? And then Bull Nakano would be coming up. And even, honestly, even if you put Bull Nakano up, the majority of people are going to go, who's that? Right? But the fact that she no longer looks like Bull Nakano, because the thing is, obviously, she doesn't have her hair straight up like she used to. It's all just down, right? So even that makes her look totally different. But she's lost so much weight. She's like a quarter of the size that she was. And, you know, she's like, what, in her 50s now, compared to the 20-year-olds that we saw back in the 90s. You know, again, that was 30 years ago. So she's got different hair. She's about a quarter of the size, and she's 30 years older. So, yeah, if you brought her out, it's not going to have the same impact as, you know, the Bull Nakano that's in our minds. She's still an awesome. I love her, though. I still love for her to. Maybe if she's not in the Rumble, but if she was to be on Raw 30 or something like that, you know, that'd still be cool. Like a little backstage thing of Alundra Blaze talking to Bull Nakano would be awesome. But I mean, like, honestly, if you're celebrating the history of Raw, Bull Nakano's not really one of the names that comes to mind because she wasn't in WWE that long. But she is a former women's champion. I mean, she is there ain't loads of them. Former women's champions from the 90s, and she is one of them. So, yeah, it would be cool to see her. But, nah, if I had to choose for this year's Rumble, I'd still go Billy Kay. I'd love to meet Bull Nakano, though. She wouldn't understand me. But should Santino have won the Rumble in 2011? I think so. That was so good. It was so good. And I really like Santino. I think Santino is another example of someone that did comedy really well and actually was funny. I know that because of the Jim Cornette drama, maybe, or maybe because some of that comedy hasn't aged as well. I don't know. I mean, at the time, it was funny. You can look back at it now and maybe some of it doesn't land. I don't think any of it was offensive. But I don't know. I think as time has gone by, he's kind of seen as a little cringe, which I just think's he was, but he was just fun. I mean, he was never meant to be cool. You know what I mean? He was never meant to be cool. It's kind of like saying Breezango were cringe, or they were never meant to be cool. They tried to be cool. They thought they were cool, but they were never really cool. I like them as well. I like Breezango. Tyler Breeze being in the Rumble would be great. Against the ropes goes Apollo. Kick to the side of the head. Big clothesline. Down goes Carmelo. Apollo exploding into NXT. I don't think it's unfair to say that Apollo has struggled in NXT. I sort of feel like he's had some decent matches, and certainly the reinvention has been welcome. But is he a guy that's going to come up to the main roster or go back to the main roster and kill it? Don't know. I feel like he's in a better place than he was, but 1, 2. I still think he's going to come up and just be the same Apollo, the same guy that struggled. Obviously, he's not got the Nigerian accent and all of that, but for the longest time, he didn't have that. I still think he's going to be in the same situation. Goes for the pin. Oh, and he gets it. Apollo pins Carmelo. So, not a bad little match. So, Cruz gets the pin on Carmelo. Carmelo can't believe it. Right, now we've got video package. Tony and Stacks. Bridge represents the beginning and the end. Chuck a couple of coins off a bridge. You've done a lot of growing up, Stacks. You took a bullet for me without thinking twice. Is this? Where's this going? If this is it, I'll be loyal to the end. Do what you've got to do. What is this? Tony going to bump Stacks off. Stacks. It's time you become the underboss. Tony has become the underboss. So Tony makes Stacks the underboss. This is good stuff, man. Proud of you. Gives him a kiss and everything. Gives him a jacket that's got the family crest on it. That was good. That was all right, you know. I was watching it. I was like, what's he going to do? I love how Stacks was like, listen, if this is the end, I'm going to be a soldier to the end. You do what you've got to do. Amazing. You're going to have to do a piece of business for the family. Paul said, unmasked to me is showing his face, and that only happened in WCW. Who is the best to come out of NXT of all time, said Lance. The best to come out of NXT. I mean, considering so many came out of NXT, I mean, well, I mean, it's hard, innit? I mean, do you count Roman? Roman was on NXT, but he was not there for long. I don't know. I feel like Roman is more a product of FCW than he is NXT. So I sort of feel like Roman might be... It might be unfair to go with Roman. Seth was the first ever champion in NXT, but again, even he wasn't there that long. He loses... I mean, NXT, I think, starts like in Full Sail. I think it's like around the middle of 2012, kind of August 2012. Well, if you think that Seth goes onto the main roster by the end of 2012, I mean, there ain't long. I feel like Seth might also be a product of FCW, but not as much as Roman, because Seth at least was the first NXT champion. And I don't believe, I mean, I'm sure I'm right in saying that when the Shield debut at Survivor Series in 2012, Seth is the NXT champion at that point. He actually loses the belt in 2013 to Big E. So, I don't know. It all comes down to what do you class as NXT, because Roman's the biggest star right now and has been for a long time. So Roman would be the pick, right? Roman would be the person. If we're not going to count Roman, then I feel like Seth is probably the next one down on that list. Eventually, you know, we're going to be getting to the likes of Kevin, Sammy, Finn Balor, you know, that kind of level. Sasha, Bailey. But for me, they're below Roman, comfortably below Roman. And I sort of feel like they're below Seth as well. I feel like Seth is the macho man of this generation, and Roman is the Hulk Hogan. And then you've got everyone else that's, you know, the Roddy Pipers, or, you know, the Mr. Perfects, the whatever, that kind of level, you know. So, yeah, I'll go Roman. If it's not Roman, then Seth. And then you've got your Kevins, your Sammys, your Sashas, your Charlottes, your Beckys. You've got those. Becky is sort of, I suppose, knocking on Seth's door. I don't think she's bigger than Seth, though. But, and then, your Johnny Garganos, your Tommaso Ciampas, they haven't established themselves on the main roster yet. So, they're even further down the pecking order. So, yeah. Kevin or Sammy, says Corey. What about Becky and Charlotte, says Austin. I think that, neither of them are Roman's level. And I think that Becky, you could make an argument for being around Seth's level, but for me, I've got Seth ahead of both of them. I mean, Charlotte is a 14-time world champion, but no disrespect, winning a women's world title is not that hard because there's not that many competitive women for those belts. Like there's like a handful of women that they use to carry those titles, and only a few of those, get chance to win them on a regular basis. Like if you're Bianca, if you're Becky, if you're Sasha, if you're Charlotte, if you're Bayley, like you're going to always be around those world titles. So, Charlotte's just found herself in a situation where she's already got it 14 times. I mean, a 14-time world champion in 8 years is mental. Here's Tiffany Stratton. So, yeah, massive deals, but can't say bigger than Roman or Seth. Here's Tiffany. Tiffany trying to get into her locker room. Hello? Oh, Indy? This isn't your locker room anymore? Does she even go here anymore? So, Indy changes Tiffany's locker room. To the women's locker room. Okay, Toxic Attraction. We're going to be hearing from those girls. Here is JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, both coming out at the same time. Strap the rocket to Flair's name. We just got lucky she was working good. Oh, yeah, I mean, no shade on her. I really like Charlotte. I like Becky as well. I think you could definitely, someone could make the argument that Becky is bigger than Seth. You could definitely make that argument. Becky being the first woman to main event WrestleMania and win it. The whole man moment. But I don't know. Is she really bigger than Seth? Like the architect, that run was amazing when he was with, the Authority. And then Monday Night Rollins. I just feel like he's been around the top since he came in with the Shield, like over 10 years ago. Becky hasn't always been around the top. Okay, so they're bragging. Eric, shout out to you. Only WWE would use I'm Blue song for the red brand. It's a remix, isn't it? There was like different lyrics and everything to it, so I don't know. Whatever track it is seems to use the Blue by Eiffel 65 as like the backing track thing. But yeah, good point. I never needed you. Okay. So they're talking about the fans reacting. For a hot second, they did try to eliminate each other. But at the end of the day, we're a team. No animosity. Okay. Vengeance Day, baby. Okay, so they're just making out that there is no problems, and I like how they ripped into the fans. Here comes Valkyria, then. Lyra Valkyria. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. What was Jay Briscoe? Jay Briscoe passed away. Tony Khan has tweeted that Jay Briscoe has sadly passed away. That's sad. Okay. That's sad. I don't know when we last saw Jay Briscoe, though. I mean, he's not someone that's kind of been around for hang on. Let me read the Tony Khan tweet. Jay Briscoe of the Briscoes. And he passed away. Known to fans, Jay Briscoe. He was a star in Ring of Honor for over 20 years. Jay and his brother Mark dominated. Wow. Okay. Where's that come from? Was he ill or something? Ugh. Trying to watch a show, take notes on a review. Okay, let me make the notes on this. Okay, we've got Ivy Nile. Ivy Nile tells the Creed brothers to grow a set. Here's Alba Fire. Yeah, that's all right, let's have a look at this day news. Sadly, Jamie Pugh has passed away. Known to fans as Jay Briscoe, he was a star in Ring of Honor for over 20 years. For the first show until today, Jay and his brother Mark dominate Ring of Honor, reigning as champions. We'll do what we can to support the family. I mean, I didn't hear that there was like any illness. I mean, the Briscoes took on FTR not that long ago, didn't they? So I'm guessing this is a surprise. When was the last time we saw them? I mean, thinking about it, wasn't it Ring of Honor like Final Battle the last time they competed? Uh, 38 is young. Car accident, question mark. It was a car crash. It was a car crash, was it? Wow. Awful news. Awful news. 38, that's no age, is it? 38. I don't know why. In my head, I thought we hadn't seen them for a while. But Final Battle? Because I was wondering, like, is there been an illness or something that he's been battling with? And I was trying to think, like, have I heard anything about him battling something? But I haven't. There was the dog collar match, says Rick, was the last one. I think they had that chain match. The FTR match was his last. Wow, that's awful, horrific news. There's not. What else can you say? I mean, a real shock. A real shock. Tweeted just 6 hours ago. New hat, 13x. Wow. Can't believe it. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was a massive Briscoes fan or all that kind of stuff. I'm not a hater by any means, but I'm not someone that watched lots of their stuff because I don't watch Ring of Honor. But 38, yeah, I'm aware of the Briscoes. I'm fully aware of the Briscoes. I've seen them wrestle, in various different promotions over the years, and I'm very aware that they are one of the tag teams of this generation. And awful news. Trending, of course. I'm just reading what people are saying about it. People calling them one of the greatest tag teams in the history of wrestling. Here we go. Dave Meltzer, 1 minute ago. Tony Khan has tweeted the death of Jay Briscoe in an auto accident. 2 people in the car died in an accident at 5:30 in Maryland. Tragic news. So, yeah, car accident. I mean, yeah. How are you meant to, like, concentrate now? Who gives a flip about the show? Anyone that watched Ring of Honor is sad. We got to see them both growing up in Ring of Honor, said Rick. Jay Briscoe's last match was the dog collar match in Ring of Honor Final Battle. We've got Stevie Turner. I like this gimmick. Even to my ears, she sounds super English. Jay was on the first show. Mark was too young at that point, said Rick. He was also a 2-time Ring of Honor champion, which he was undefeated for over a year until Jay Lethal beat him to unify the world and TV title, said Return of the Yoshi. Stevie Turner, if you are just joining us for NXT, obviously the news about Jay Briscoe has obviously completely derailed things. But we've got Stevie Turner, who I believe was in NXT UK. Getting ready to come over to NXT with like a streaming gimmick, which is pretty fun. Here's Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka has definitely been catching people's attention. What with avoiding elimination from the Battle Royal, walking on her hands. And obviously that crazy finishing move that she displayed at on Level Up. This hurts. I love the Briscoes, says James. Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, like when someone like Pele passes away, obviously the world remembers, but I don't know that the world is shocked. This one's got the added shock to it as well. It's very it's like Brody Lee. It's like when Brody Lee passed away. Like this is similar because it's one that, you know, they're an active team. They're an active team. They're still competing. No one will have been expecting this. And for this news to break and it be a car accident, it's awful. As I said, the closest you can compare it to, or the one that comes to mind, is Brody Lee. Ruka versus Alba Fire is what we've got right now. This isn't going to be a great match. I don't like the Alba Fire name, said WWE and AEW fan. Alex said, did Dave Meltzer confirm exactly what happened from what we know as the public? Well, I don't know where the confirmation has come from in regards to the car accident, but he has come out and said that it was a car accident. He has come out and reported that. So that's... Yeah. Tony Khan tweeted the death of Jay Briscoe in an auto accident. He's managed to find out there was 2 people in the car. And that it happened at 5:30 in Maryland. So whatever sources he's got, whatever connections he's got, he's been able to find that information out. People calling it a tragedy, of course. Ricky Morton, gutted, rest in peace. Thank you for allowing Robert and myself to wrestle you countless times. Truly one of my favorites. Alan Angels has tweeted out as well. MLW has tweeted out. Angelina Love tweeted out. Yeah. I'm just having a look, seeing like what's kind of famous names are saying. Obviously, damn man, there's a clip here from a few years ago of him with his daughter from 2020. I mean, she looks 10, 11, 12. So he's got daughter, at least one daughter. I don't know what his life is like in regards to like family life. Awful. I don't think there'll be a way to kind of get the NXT stream obviously back. We'll keep going. We're not gonna stop, but can't promise it's gonna be a great stream. Isla Dawn distracting. Isla Dawn distracting. Alba Fire. And Sol Ruka hitting that finishing move. So Isla distracts Alba.
I never needed you at all. Bum. I never needed you.
Cal, 2 people died. Prayers to the other person. Yeah, well said, Cal. Shout out to you, bud. Well said. It's two people that have sadly lost their lives. Rest in peace, Jay. What a sweet soul, said Iania. John said, R.I.P. Jay. Awesome last match to go out on. Gene said, what's your prediction? I don't know. What's the next game? I don't know. They're coming thick and fast. Is it Barcelona that's next, or got Arsenal coming up as well, haven't we? So I don't know which one's next, to be honest. Rest in peace. If he was drunk then driving, then I'm glad he didn't kill anyone else, said Enigma. Have they said that's what happens? Was it a drink driving thing? I don't know. Joe Gacy has tweeted out. Billy said the Briscoes have got a long history with the dark side of the business, but if drink driving was the cause, don't jump on it before knowing facts. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's not something I've seen. I'm sure the details will come out. I don't even know if he was driving. So, yeah, I don't know on that. Big Time Back said Cash Wheeler has tweeted. Yeah, I had a scan through. I saw a few names. I'm sure, I mean, look, this is breaking news. To my knowledge, it only came out 15, 20 minutes ago. So I'd imagine that as people are finding out about it, then you'll start to see more and more tweets coming out from different wrestlers and whatever. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. Rest in peace. It goes to show how easy it is and how fragile life is. That's why you should never take life for granted. Yeah, I mean, do you know, it's funny you should say that, because I was thinking about that exact thing just the other day, because I don't know if you saw the video. It's quite harrowing, but there is, the plane crash that happened in Nepal, where I think at least 68 people sadly lost their lives. There is a video of someone in the plane as it is going down that was doing the rounds on social media. It sounds really horrific. You don't see anything bad. And it was one of those that was everywhere. I certainly didn't go searching for it. I was just on Twitter, and I couldn't avoid it, to be honest. And I'm sure many of you saw it as well. And you watch that video. I did think about whether to watch it or not. I did end up watching it, and yeah, I was unsure about watching it, not because of being respectful or anything. To be honest, I just don't think that. I don't think that matters. If you watch that video, I don't think you're being disrespectful. I obviously I just didn't want to see anything graphic or gruesome, so I was like, I didn't know. But there was I think I saw someone put it up saying that there was nothing graphic in there, so I was like, okay, let's watch it then. And when you watch it, man, you see the guy sat on the plane, and he's looking out the window, and everything's fine, and the mood inside the plane seems absolutely fine. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, it's as if there's a jolt, there's a judder or something. And like all of a sudden, like the phone seems to go like black and then there's like a white color. But then all of a sudden, all you see then is like, you know, you hear this noise as it's, I'm guessing the plane is like obviously coming around and like everything's going crazy. I'm sure the phone's just getting chucked around all over the place. Ultimately, the phone comes to rest and all you can see then is flames. So it's not like the phone cuts out. It's just you go from this guy holding it, looking out the window, and then like, you know, the you know, whatever, and then you end up with these flames and everything. And then you know, you find out that obviously people didn't make it. It's horrific. And that made me think about like, you know, wow. You can literally just go there from sitting there looking out a window. He was on Facebook Live. That's how this footage was seen. Which I didn't even know you could do on a plane, to be honest. I didn't even know they had Wi-Fi on planes. And if they did, I certainly wouldn't have thought it was strong enough for using Facebook Live. But apparently that's where the footage came from. I don't know if it's been took down now out of respect or whatever. I have no idea. But yeah, that was just a couple of days ago, and that made me think like, wow, you just never know. And then this is another reminder if we needed one. Fun stream, innit? Right, we are back from commercial break, and Dijak just telling Wesley that it will be his judgment day. Turn this down. Right, we've got Grayson Waller. Turn that now. Unrelated, but Wrestling Observer named Roman the biggest draw in 2022, 6 years in a row, said Lance. You're not allowed to use phones on planes. That's why they say put your phone in airplane mode, says Cal. I don't know if there's been changes to that, to be honest. I don't know. I thought that as well. But I did read then that there is Wi-Fi on planes, but so I don't know. I don't know if they've now come up with a new technology or whatever. I don't know. I would have thought it would have interfered with things, but no, let's be crystal. No one's saying that him being on his phone caused this accident. I've not seen any reports on that. But yeah, I agree. I was surprised. What where are we looking at? Right, we're 50 minutes into this show. Okay, so Grayson is upset with the people that construct the ring because obviously last week the ropes broke twice. So he's frustrated following last week's result. Daze, would check the video. I fear I will be traumatized by it. The only thing I would say is that it's not a bad video. There's nothing graphic in the video. The only thing that might traumatize you is just knowing that that person didn't make it and that you're seeing their final moments. The only thing I would say about it is it sounds really gruesome and everything. I actually think the opposite. I actually think that it's quite it's hard to put into words because you're seeing someone's final moments. But his final moments, apart from obviously the plane going down, are looking out of a window. Do you know what I mean? Being on Facebook Live, seemingly everything's calm. There's no panic. Looking out of a window. They're actually on their way coming into land. and it's quite peaceful, and it seems quite nice, pleasant. So, but obviously, then, like, you know, the few moments after, horrific. But there's nothing in the video that's graphic or gruesome. But yeah, I'd say if you're a bit like, oh, I don't know how I'd feel about seeing it, then I wouldn't watch it. It's definitely one that sticks with you. Let's put it that way. But the reason I mention it is because someone said about, like, you just never know, and it's true. I mean, it's true, isn't it? And it just made me think of that video, which by chance I just happened to stumble across on Twitter the other day. Right, we are hearing from Grayson Waller at the moment. He was frustrated following last week, as we said. Actually got an NXT championship belt. Won't be, he's not the champ, of course. I take every day for granted. When I die, it's not like I have a lot to say about it. I won't care because I'm dead, says William. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? You can say, like, oh, don't take each day for granted, but realistically, what are you going to be able to do? I mean, I suppose just enjoy it a bit more. Just realize a bit more that it's not forever and that it can end at any time, and maybe, I don't know, some of your concerns become a little less concerning. Maybe it inspires you to, you know, take a few more chances or do a few more things that you want to do. Helicopters are a bad way to go because you have the whole ride down. It's a crazy video. They are actually joking that they are dying days on the video. Check it out. I never heard that. I'm not saying that they weren't saying that. I don't know if I had the sound on, to be honest. I don't think I had the sound up. I think I was concerned about hearing screams and all that kind of stuff, to be honest. I can't remember. I can't remember. Like, it was. Yeah, I don't think I had the sound. So I don't think I heard what they were saying. WWE is dumb. What's with their cage match obsession, says Real. William said, I've faced death many times. I've had relationships with women. Death doesn't scare me. Did you see that Via Maham's dad passed away? That's why he was gone last week. No, I didn't. No. That's sad news. God. Anything good going on in the world, guys? Is there anything positive happening in the world right now? They're playing Palace away in the league. They're playing Palace next. I thought it was Arsenal next. Well, I think United will beat Crystal Palace. Are we sure they're playing Palace in the league? I really thought it was Arsenal next. Best advice would keep your loved ones close. Why is the chat about death? It's not a wrestling watch-along anymore. It's because Jay Briscoe's passed away, and people are upset about it. I would say understandably so. Positive in the world, Daze, you bring joy to me. Animation, shout out to you. Jay Briscoe died for real, says Billy. Yeah. Yeah, it is real, yeah. Right, we are at commercial break. We will be going over to the second hour. It's down on it. I don't. There's not really a way of, like. I wouldn't even want to put a. Well, positive spin is not the right words to use, is it? There is no positive spin. But, like, trying to focus on the wrestling is going to be very difficult. United play Palace tomorrow and then Arsenal on Sunday. Oh, man, these games just come absolutely thick and fast. I honestly thought it was Arsenal next on Sunday. I didn't even know about a Palace game. So I think United beat Palace. Arsenal draw. So, I don't know. 2-0 against Palace. Draw against Arsenal. I'll go with that. Zachary said, let's do halftime scores. Okay, let's do halftime scores. Let's do halftime scores then.
Scores,
I know we probably should have played that earlier, but
I really want
let's try and improve the mood a little bit.
Chat.
I don't know that we'll succeed, but we can aim to try.
Everybody, it's the halftime scores. Are you happy? It's the halftime scores. Are you happy or you sad? Halftime scores. Everybody, it's the halftime scores. I should get that recorded. If I got it recorded, I could just press play then. Just sit here like this.
Chris said 6. Trey said 5.75. 5 said animations. James said Palace is the one that was postponed when the Queen died. Now said 5. Virus said 6. Jojo said 6.7. WWE and AEW fans said 6. Justin said 6. Ian said 6. El Sean said 6. Ayania said 6. Justin said 6. Zachary said 6. Jim, shout out to you. Did you tag me in it, Jim? Tag me in it? Tag me in it. I'd try and retweet it for you. 6.5 said Austin. 8 said Justin. We've got a lot of 6s. Albert, fire, frustrated backstage. 5, 5, 7, 6, 8, 6. Tyler Bate is back tonight. Okay, in the ring we got Briggs and Jensen. But Albert Fire can join Bray Wyatt and his many personalities. Have you seen the comments made by Kevin Nash? He spoke about potentially committing suicide. Oh my God. Jeez. I mean, honestly, what is this stream? What is this stream? Okay. We can get through this stream. We're going to get through it. Right, Briggs and Jensen against Gallus is what we've got coming up. This is the second week in a row that NXT has been interrupted with bad news. Last week was Saudi Arabia buying WWE, and now Jay Briscoe passing. Hopefully next week is better for everyone. Tim said it ruined my night. Why did I have to tune in? Love the Briscoe brothers. Was the car crash today? Yes. 5:30 apparently. Okay, bell has sounded, and we are underway with Briggs and Jensen taking on Gallus. We are into the final hour of this. Rick said, I'm not surprised about Kevin Nash, given that his kid died not so long ago. The world's oldest person died today as well. I mean, that is bad news, but it's also interesting news for the person that was the second oldest, because they are now the oldest. That's all I'm going to say on that. I don't know how surprising it's going to be if you get to 118 years old that today's the day you pass away. But obviously it's still going to be hard for their family. So, respect. B-Max said, shocking news. Right. Briggs and Jensen. Knee to the back there by Wolfgang. Coffee tags Wolfgang in. 2023 is a bad news year. It is. Feels like the start of every year is a bad news year. I mean, wasn't it the start of last year? I think it was pretty early last year that we got Russia and Ukraine situation. So I remember coming out of like 2021 going like 2022 can't be any worse. And it's like, oh, look, World War III's here now. So we started 2022 in a bad way. It wasn't that far into 2020 that we got the pandemic. I mean, news of it was circulating around, I want to say February, with it properly lockdowns and everything in March. So, yeah, it seems to be the start of every year. Like, just seems to suck. It's only January, damn it. What coffee is this? I think it's Joe Coffee, isn't it? Shot coming in. Is it Joe? Might not be. Oh, get a bit botchy. Gets a bit botchy there. Jensen trying to jump over Wolfgang. So, botch alert. Tried to jump over the top of him, and he failed. There we go, guys. We got a botch that we can laugh at. Tried to jump over him, and his leg got caught, and he ended up falling into the ropes. Laugh at the botch, guys. Laugh at the botch. It'll make you feel better. Right, they're peeling up they're exposing the flooring. Talk about Bocce, Briggs, and Jensen. Never even tagged Top Dollar. It's Mark Coffey that's wrestling, says Real. Justin said the year just started and bad things start to happen. Big back body drop there. Right. UFC this weekend. Yeah, UFC this weekend. Should be good. Be nice to get back into it. So a bit of UFC action. Okay, we have gone to commercial break. I can't remember what we've got. Tyler Bate on the show. I know we've still got Tyler Bate to come. I'm trying to think what else was announced beforehand that we haven't already seen. I feel like we've seen a lot of the announced stuff. So I don't know quite what we've got coming up. Why are they pulling the floor? Just trying to expose the concrete. That's what they're trying to do. Flashback to Top Dollar. Madison said New Year's Evil was the worst event in NXT history. In other news, can't wait for the Royal Rumble. Yep. It's a week on Saturday, isn't it? So very much looking forward to that. We've actually got our Royal Rumble predictions. I will do a separate video for Royal Rumble predictions. In fact, I'll try and get some out on Sunday, I think, for Royal Rumble prediction. But I do have the Wrestling Escape Pod out tomorrow, and that's going to be Royal Rumble predictions. So, and actually, this week's Wrestling Escape Pod is very, very heavy wrestling talk. So we really do get into potential surprises, who we think's going to win, all that kind of stuff. So should be a good episode this week. I need to get that sorted after this NXT stream. Trey said tag match. It is a tag match that we've got on at the moment. And, well, at the moment, we've got a commercial break. But Hayden, shout out to you. Hope you are well. AEW tomorrow. Yeah. Don't even know what we've got tomorrow, AEW-wise. I'm not sure what the card looks like. Are we building towards it? When's the next big AEW show? It's Revolution, isn't it? Which I think is like February time. So I think we're heading towards that. We're building towards that. Still a little way off, though, isn't it? The Sasha thing's in February as well, when she takes on Kyrie. Right, we are underway. Back underway with both guys back into the ring. They were just fighting on the outside. Big back body drop there by Briggs. In comes Jensen. Fallon, Henley on the outsides. Big boots as Wolfgang goes down. Spinning back heel there. Who is going to win out of Garn and Jones, says Wrestle with Andy. Hard to know, isn't it? Because we don't know what Jones is going to look like at heavyweight. But I'm leaning towards it being Jones. I feel like Garn is a very good heavyweight, but has fallen short against the likes of Ngannou. I think that John Jones was regarded as maybe the greatest martial artist of all time. Mixed martial artist. Whether that can translate to heavyweight, I don't know. But I think there's probably a good chance it can. Apparently, he's been looking very good in training, so I'm going to go John Jones. Revolution is March 5th, says James. It's a long way, isn't it? Long way. Darby versus Kushida for the TNT title. Is Kushida on the show? When was that announced? When did they announce Kushida? Was that announced on Rampage? I don't remember that being announced last week. Must have been on Rampage, which, in fairness, was last week, but I mean Dynamite. I don't think any of these four wrestlers are ever going to make it big time at AEW, said Jonathan. Will you do a watch-along for the Sasha show? No. No, I think that's going to have limited appeal in it. I think there'll be people that will potentially tune in to see Sasha, but I think it'll probably be similar to what we saw with New Japan, where as soon as she's come out and people have got that information, people all just move on. Like, I don't think people are going to really be interested in sitting down doing a full watch along. Just learned about Jay Briscoe, said Jeremy. For Raw 30th, I'm actually least excited to see Ric Flair out of all of the legends. They announced it on Friday. Kushida was on Impact Hard to Kill, said James. Right. He is going back to make the tag. And Coffee just preventing the tag. Strike. Another shot. Wolfgang goes down. To the outside goes Wolfgang. Mark Coffey goes up over the top onto the edge of the ring. Down goes Mark Coffey. So we've got Briggs. He comes down, collides into Coffey. Now we got Jensen unloading on Wolfgang. Forearm strike by Wolfgang. Oh, big back body drop onto the exposed flooring. Big shot there by Briggs. Briggs pushing Coffey back into the ring. He comes crashing down. Slams him down. Big splash. Good work so far by Briggs. Briggs in control. But there is a problem with Jensen. Fallon Henley is concerned. We've got officials coming down. Officials coming down because Jensen is been slammed onto that exposed floor. This is meaning that Briggs is having to deal with this on his own at the moment. Here's Kiana James. Kiana James has come racing down. So Kiana James has come down. Just get me up, he says. So Jensen said, just get me up. So they're just helping him back up to his feet. Right now, we've got Briggs in the ring, trying to deal with both of Gallus on his own. Tag is made. Wolfgang comes in. Oh, and Gallus look like they're going to get the victory here, and they do. Gallus win. So Jensen was injured. Yana came down. And Gallus win. So apparently his lower back was damaged anyway. Keegan said, how are you? I'm all right. I'm all right. It's obviously just a lot of bad news, sad news doing the rounds this evening. Okay, Gallus picking up the victory. Oh, here's Thea Hail. If anyone can cheer me up. Ready to throw up? Oh, she's nervous. So Thea's in action tonight. The secret footage of Duke saying something, but I couldn't quite catch what he was saying. Can we worry about this later, says Thea. Okay, so I get what he says now. So Duke Hudson says the fact that they've been losing and Andre Chase has been losing has been bringing down the image of the university. So Andre Chase is not happy about that, but Thea Hail has got a match coming up, so she just wants to go off and do that. So Duke filmed talking about Andre. Who's him? Beer match. I'm patiently waiting for Duke to betray Chase, you said, Wrestle Trends. There's Fox executives touted SmackDown ratings, claiming how the show has done 2.1 only 3 times since September. The rest are all 2.2s, with them doing 2, 3, 4 times since mid. I don't know what we're saying. What are we saying? Are we saying? I mean, what are we saying? Can we start a wall of shame for habitual spammers? No, because people will then want to get onto that wall of shame, won't they? That wall of shame will then be seen as a badge of honor. Usos just tweeted, said James. Meave, hello. Hope you are well. We've got just over 40 minutes left of NXT. And we've got a Thea Hail match coming up So we've got that to look forward to. Metal Mouth, shout out to you. So yeah, we have got Thea Hail match coming up. Justin said, I think AEW will do a video package. That is why the pure boss. Shakeem said, can I join a wall? There is no wall. There is no wall. Rumble predictions. Will that be a stream? They were the best, said Jeremy. Maybe. I am very aware that people seem to prefer smaller, shorter content than like long streams. But streams are sort of what we do. So on Sunday, there is maybe a chance that we do a stream, and then I'll try and maybe work on a quick little separate short video as well. I don't know. These are the sort of things that let's try and figure out the right way forward. Yeah, maybe. I think people would probably enjoy a stream as well as a quick little 2-minute thing as well. So, yeah. I missed Ivy tonight. What happened with her, said Hawkins. Not much, to be honest. Not much. She was just backstage basically telling the Creed brothers to, sort themselves out. Get back to what made them so great. Right, we're backstage with Briggs and Jensen. Is Fallon Henley upset with Kiana James coming out? She did more harm than good. You can't be that blind. She's using you. So, when she breaks your heart, I won't be here to help you pick up the pieces. So, Fallon upset with Jensen for his relationship. With Kiana. Right, here we've got... Oh, she's taking on Thea. Thea doesn't get an entrance. Thea Hail doesn't get an entrance. The flip. Thea chants by the crowds. So, Thea... Let's change this over. Thea working on the arm. Let's go, Thea chants. Thea goes down. I think her name's Valentina Feroz, isn't it? Feroz. Hit up by Thea. Thea working on the arm again. Feroz kicks at the legs. Down goes Thea Hail. John, shout out to you. Kick out there by Thea. Thea takes the leg away from Feroz. Feroz back up on her feet. Nice arm drag by Thea Hail. Oof. And a drop kick. Thea Hail goes down. Feroz looking for the pin. Just a 1 count. Shoulder up by Thea Hail. Feroz is pulling on the arm at the moment. Here's Elektra Lopez coming down. Don't know what Lopez is going to want. Booker T seems impressed. He's broken out the shucky ducky quack quack at the sight of Elektra Lopez. Thea Hail trying to wrap herself around the arms of Feroz, she was looking for like a crucifix, but kick out by Thea Hail, only a 2 count. Kick. Standing moonsault, 1, 2. Kick out. Thea Hail, close. Going for another cover. Kick out again. Thea Hail battling away at the moment, trying to get this victory. How long have we got? We've got just over half an hour left of NXT. 1, 2. Kick out again. Knee to the midsection by Feroz. Kick to the side of the head. Thea Hail goes down. She's right back up on her feet. She gets thrown against the ropes. Duck underneath. Both crossbody into each other. I love that spot. That collision actually looked quite horrific. Sort of feel like when you launch into a crossbody, probably the most momentum you have is just as you've launched, just as you've jumped up. That's the bit where you're just going to have the most momentum. He's giving us some brass knucks, you know. Roz doesn't want them. He hands them to the referee. She goes over, grabs Thea Hail. Thea Hail, oh, plants her down. It looks like Thea Hail's going to get the win. And she does. Thea Hail wins. Chase you. Chase you. Thea Hail picks up the win, and Elektra Lopez is disappointed that Feroz didn't use the Nux. Big smile on Thea Hail's face. Awesome. Right, we've got Carmelo and Trick and Apollo in the parking lot. I heard Thea Hail has more chain mail in her closet than Scott Steiner, said Aubrey Edwards. Thea Hail wins, said Hayden. Yep. Got a cool Rey Mysterio shirt on. The Jay Briscoe news just mentioned on NXT. So they did just do an address to camera in regards to Jay Briscoe. So that news coming on NXT. There were 4 people in the car, said Jonah. 2 adults died, including Jay, and 2 people were taken in critical condition, one of which was a child. There was apparently a fire and everyone was trapped. Daze, the person filming the video on the Nepal plane are joking that they're going to die, and then the fire rages. It's sad. Real said, respect to NXT. NXT mentioned Jay Briscoe. They did. Big Time Baxter said, didn't Tony Khan try repeatedly to get the Briscoes on Dynamite, but Warner Brothers told them no because of past comments that Jay himself has repeatedly apologized for? I don't know. I mean, I know that we've spoken about him, the Briscoes being on AEW. Whenever that conversation has come up, I've been told that the TV company weren't willing to have them on their network, basically. So, but the details, the reasoning for it, I don't know. Iania, shout out to you. Bye for now. That shows how much the respect Briscoe's had on wrestling. He never even wrestled for WWE, said Rick. Billy said, respect to the Briscoes. Will said, surprisingly classy move. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I sort of feel like you've got to. The only thing is that they didn't have to do it on this episode. I think I would have been surprised had they have not maybe said something on SmackDown. I don't know that I'm expecting like the graphic at the start, but I think I am expecting there to be a mention because it's such big news and it's so heartbreaking at the fact that it's a car accident and he's 38 and you know, they're such a well-known tag team as well. A lot of people in WWE will have, you know, they'll be friends with them and will have wrestled against them on many occasions and whatever. So even though they've not been in WWE, like their influence has obviously still been felt. There's a lot of people that say that the Usos, their heel turn has been very influenced by the Briscoes. So I think I'm expecting that to be mentioned on SmackDown. Not graphic or anything, but I think I am expecting some mention. But yeah, for them to do it tonight is live on the show. I wasn't quite expecting that. I just sort of thought that they would, you know, carry on what the show they had planned, basically. Is the Hurt Business back together? No. Not yet. It seemed like MVP came down with Cedric and Shelton, but then there seemed to be a bit of an argument afterwards. Bobby Lashley is still not quite on board, but it feels like it's heading that way. But Vince wouldn't have. Jay Briscoe was pretty intense. He took a lot of abusing in his career, said Jonathan. Right, we're going back to NXT, and we've got Valentina Feroz. Here is Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez said, "Why didn't you take my help?" You and Sanga clearly think the same, says Feroz. Why is she trying to recruit Feroz, Valentina Feroz? Is the New Day? I wonder if they'll say anything. Right, New Day making their way out. Okay, New Day. Kaylee Ray should have won against Sol Ruka, said Miguel. Right. New Day in the ring. Looking sharp, aren't they, actually? Both in, like, suits. New Day. And we look good, said Xavier. Do you want to know why we look so good? Today's a special occasion. We're done with Pretty Deadly. We're looking good because we're done with Pretty Deadly. So they said they're looking good because they're done with Pretty Deadly. So they've got Gallus coming up at Vengeance Day. That's bringing out Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly have come out. Pretty Deadly. Look at them too. Fluorescent pink and fluorescent yellow. Do you think this is funny? No, Shark Xavier doesn't say anything about Briscoes, even a little hints. This better not be listening to these goofs for the last 20 minutes, said Big Guy. Okay, Pretty Deadly telling the New Day to shut up. Pretty Deadly said, this isn't about Gallus. It's about us. We are the rightful challengers to those NXT tag titles. That's brought out Gallus, though. So Gallus are making their way down. Shame you don't know him. They look like SpongeBob and Patrick, said Chris. Very good. Very good, Chris. Well done. You two don't deserve a chance for those titles. Okay. Gotta love my fellow Scottish peeps, says Billy. Gallus in the ring. The Gallus boys are back on top. This segment's not a great segment. It's just a lot of, we're going to win. We deserve an opportunity. Let's see what Xavier's got to say. Considering the fact none of us understood a word you just said, we're ready when you are. So Pretty Deadly have attacked Gallus, and now they're attacking the New Day. So there's a big brawl between these teams. Unsurprisingly. All three of the teams brawling away. Triple threat at Vengeance, they said Boomers. I probably brought the New Day down here to help these guys. Need to be babysitted for a while, said Jonathan. Where is Joe Coffee? I don't know. There's only the two Gallus guys, isn't there? Let them fight, chance. Let them fight, chance. Creed Brothers versus New Day at Stand and Deliver, please. God, that would have been so good. Creed Brothers against New Day would have been so much more entertaining. I don't mind Pretty Deadly. I'm not a Gallus fan. Right, we've got Roxanne Perez and Lyra Valkyria. Lyra said, normally I fly alone. And so in the main event, I will be there for her. So it looks like we're getting a tag match in our main event then. Here's Javier Bernal. New girl. New girl. Right, okay. Their accents sound like they are all of those hard to understand. I think they're going to save New Day against Creed Brothers for Stand and Deliver. Do you think they're going to be sticking around that long? I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be around that long. I hope we do get that match. I do like Javier asking the champ and the new girl if they want to hear a song. Was that the main event? No, main event coming up next. Main event is going to be Lyra and Roxanne against Toxic Attraction. That's our main event. I feel like this has been not the strongest episode of NXT. It's really hard to score because it's just been completely overshadowed, completely understandably, by the Jay Briscoe news, which has just, completely ruined this whole stream and show, which is, again, totally understandable. Heartbreaking news, of course, and but I don't think this show is able to, I don't think it's doing a very good job of distracting, if you will. I don't feel like there's really anything here of note. It's all right. It's all right. It's crazy how much Lyra looks like Valentina Feroz, says Real. I think they will stay around. I can't see New Day doing anything at WrestleMania this year, said Austin. Where is Pretty Awful, said Miguel. They were just in ring. They were just in ring brawling with Gallus and New Day. Alex Bliss Gamer said, only Lorcan was one of the producers that ended the tag brawl. WWE and AEW fans said, I actually like Javier Bernal. He's got potential as a comedy character. NXT is too much for my brain. It's my first time watching in a good year, said Billy. Does anyone know when the Kofi brothers signed? I'm asking, so I'm trying to figure out when they are free. No idea. No idea. And I don't even know because, it's messy, isn't it? Because NXT UK ended and, did they sign new contracts for NXT? Do you have to sign a new contract for NXT? I have no idea. I would think so because, I don't know. It's on TV in America. It's different to it being in NXT UK, isn't it? So, I don't know. Perhaps the contract just continues. You just do what you're asked. If you're asked to go to Raw, you go to Raw. If you're asked to go to SmackDown, you go to SmackDown. If you're asked to go to NXT, you go to NXT. And maybe there's just a little bump in pay. Maybe I've got to think that being a talent signed to an NXT UK contract is very different to being a talent signed to an NXT contract. I don't know. I don't know if they will have sign new contracts, just be carrying on the NXT UK ones. Haven't heard. You know how footballers' prime ends in their late 30s. When do you think a wrestler's prime ends? Probably a little later. I reckon you can get to your early 40s, but I think if you're in your mid 40s, I think it's not unfair to say you've gone past your prime. I feel like a wrestler's prime is probably 35. I feel like when you're in your 20s, you're learning. Once you start getting to 30, 35, that's when you're in your prime. Once you start getting towards 40, I think you're probably past your prime. But I think that, early 40s is still fine. It's not like football. I think you can still compete in your early 40s, but I don't know, once you get into your mid 40s, I think those injuries have got to start catching you up. Here's Bron Breakker. Bron said he just wants to get the bad taste out of his mouth. Didn't get the satisfaction of knowing that I am better than him. The ropes breaking twice, so again, you know, Bron frustrated. Is there any updates on NXT Europe? No. Nope. Dave Meltzer has posted some updates, says Jeremy. Justin said, I was talking with my twin brother today. He said either Nia, Naomi, or Tamina will be brought in to deal with Rhea. What do you think? Don't know how long that feud's gonna go for, to be honest. Don't know if it's just a one-off thing on Monday, so I don't know. I suppose we could be seeing Naomi come back that way. Could be seeing, I mean, like, if you do something with Jimmy, like, Naomi could come back. I feel like Naomi is a good shout. I got a feeling that she's going to be in the Rumble anyway. So I suppose you could bring her back a week early, then announce her for the Rumble. So, yeah, I could see Naomi. Have you changed the way I watch wrestling every week for the past 2 years? I love chilling with the streams. Billy, shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate the kind words. Yeah, I wouldn't go judging what we do by this stream. This is somewhat very different, of course, because of the sad news that came through. It's just really, I don't know, distracting in it. It's distracting, like it's making it really hard. I feel like we're fighting really hard to get through this show. I am definitely sitting here like, how long's left? 15 minutes, okay. It's not that NXT is like horrific. It's not like this show is completely garbage and oh my god, do you know what I mean? Like, or anything like that. But the news is just so awful that it's like I just don't feel like watching it. Rhea Ripley's son versus Solo Sikoa. Okay, Bron is still chatting away. As we said, after this, we should be getting Toxic Attraction taking on Lyra and Roxanne Perez. So, main event of Vengeance Day. Grayson Waller against Bron Breakker inside a steel cage. That's February 4th. Let me have a look, actually. What's on February 4th? February 4th. What have we got? Got my diary. That is Amanda Serrano. I'll put it in the book. NXT Vengeance. Hey. Okay. Javier Bernal is in the ring. Starting to strum his guitar. And here's oh yeah, I forgot about Tyler Bate. So Javier Bernal in the ring. Tyler Bates ready to compete. Got new music? Okay, so it is going to be Bate versus Javier Bernal. Welcome back, Chance. I didn't know that it was going to be a steel cage match. Do you feel like Braun is overrated? He does nothing. People act like he's so good he'll be a world champion. I think he is overrated just by how much people get excited by him. I do also think he will be a world champion though, because he's got that look. He's very explosive. He's very like aggressive with his promos. He's not someone that I think is going to just stick around on the sidelines. He's someone that, you know, very clear about what he wants to achieve. And they've invested a lot in him in NXT. And not only that, you know, even when it was NXT 2.0 and Vince was sort of not running it, but had a bit more of a say about it. Braun was at the top all throughout that. It feels like Braun has been I don't want to say handpicked, but it seems like he is someone that Vince is high on. Because there was reports that Vince went down to NXT, was pretty horrified by what he saw. He saw loads of small guys. And then we got NXT 2.0, we got the refresh, and the face of that was Bron Breakker. So you've got to think that Vince has seen something in him. And then he's been champion, like, you know, pretty much all throughout, apart from when he lost the belt to Dolph and then won it back again. So for me, I think his matches are so-so. I think they're all right. I don't think they're bad, but I don't think they're anything special. I think his promos are just a bit... I never find him really saying anything. We have kind of spoke about that on previous NXT streams. But equally, I do look at the fact that potentially he's been hand-selected by Vince. And I do think to myself, like, well, that obviously bodes very well for him in the future. Unless WWE gets sold and Vince is not going to be a part of it. And then, you know, who knows? But yeah, I certainly don't look at him and see the next Roman Reigns. I think that he is going to go on to win a world title, but I don't think he'll go on to be the face of the company. I don't think we're seeing the next Roman with Bron. Tyler goes into the corner. Down goes Javier Bernal. We're running out of time here. We've only got 10 minutes left. And then, of course, as Austin keeps forgetting, there is an overrun. So there will be like 5 added minutes or so. So I don't think we can have too long with this match. Bron will have a big future. I think he will be a world champ. I find him okay. He can wrestle. He's pretty good on the mic, but there are others that are better, like Carmelo Hayes. Who's your favorite wrestler to ever wear face paints? Well, the first name that comes to mind is Ultimate Warrior. That's the first name that comes to mind. Then if I think about it, I start seeing Gold Dust had face paint. Doink had face paint. But they're not better than Ultimate Warrior. Probably the Warrior, you know. I can't really think of someone that wears face paint that I mean, Warrior was my favorite as a kid. I loved Undertaker. I loved British Bulldog, but I think Warrior was my favorite. Obviously, that's not aged well, but double underhooks by Tyler Bate. He was looking for the Tyler Driver. Got him up. Ooh, a little botchy, but he gets it. And Tyler Bate picks up the win. Legion of Doom. Yeah, Legion of Doom were great. Sting, Demolition, Axe and Smash. Bron should move up. But the way things are going, it's bad times for anyone on the roster. Vince will sell. The writing is on the wall. Lots of people with Legion of Doom. Well, Coming up next is the women's match, Jeff Hardy. My favorite wrestler with face paint is Goldust. I have lived for him, but not Warrior. He's my second. You're busy with 3 Premier live events in 4 weeks: Rumble, Vengeance Day, Elimination Chamber. Have you seen the new Mattel Legends Dingo Warrior? I have. Yeah, I have. Dominic is technically got face paint with his prison tier. That's real. You get that when you kill someone. Right. It is Toxic versus Lyra and Rod. You don't have to put on a red light. Roxanne. No one has said Stardust. Not even Cody would say Stardust. Goldie is a good pick. Jay Briscoe passed away. I'm getting a lot of shout outs tonight, said WWE and AEW fan. Kamala. Do love Kamala. That's a really good shout. And he had the body paint. So gets extra points for that. So sad. Had the pleasure of meeting the Briscoes and their parents years ago, said Robs. Usos wanted to hit Rhea Ripley. Can they do that? Well, they can physically do it, but I don't think it would be a good look. I always think of that song when I hear Roxanne said Austin. Get Dom ready for prison picture day, said Eddie. Goldust, I'm sorry, but he is gold. When he had Tourette's, it made me laugh all the time, said Justin. I found out some news. Cody is returning at the Rumble, said Chrissy. Big Guy said, who's going to slap Dominic down and remind him of where he is? No one. No one's brave enough to touch Dominic. If Dominic's in the Rumble, I can only imagine everyone is just going to eliminate themselves. Imagine Big Dom winning the Rumble. Imagine Big Dom winning the Rumble. That would be amazing. That'd be the greatest thing to happen to humans, to mankind. Great Muta had face paints. I've seen Muta. Yeah, Muta had face paint. That's a really good chat, actually. I wouldn't say that was my favorite, but I would say he might be the most credible answer. But Legion of Doom's very credible as well, though, in all fairness. I mean, you are talking about potentially the greatest tag team ever with the Legion of Doom and the Road Warriors, so it's an excellent shout. But I feel like Great Muta is in conversation for like greatest wrestler ever, best wrestler ever. I don't know that he would he certainly wouldn't be my pick, but I think he would definitely make my top 20. Ultimate Warrior had the biggest impact on me, but as I said, that hasn't aged very well. Sting's a good shout. Right, we're just running down. We're really running out of time. This match is going to take no time at all, is it? Rivi, shout out to you. Do you like the Bloodline? I really like the Bloodline. Great Muta is the best mist blower. Oh, look at that. They're celebrating Thea Hail's victory. Chase you. Here's Fallon Henley. Is that a thing? Fallon apologizes. She's going to try and make it work. Fallon is going to have a tag match. Love that woman. I love Thea Hail. Thea Hail celebrating away. Big dub tonight. Big dub for the good guys. Oh, it is now a triple threat at Vengeance Day. Triple threat. Next week. It's going to be the tag champs are taking on Alba Fire next week on their own. Tiffany Stratton is going to be taking on Indy Hartwell next week after being kicked out of the locker room. Thea Hail award ceremony next week. Oh my God, my dream segment. Thea Hail award ceremony. Come on. What a time to be alive that we get to watch that. A Thea Hail award ceremony. Brilliant. Bit weird, isn't it? That Alba Fire is going to be taking on Katana and Kaden by herself. It's a little bit strange. Here is the champ, Roxanne Perez. Roxanne and Lyra versus Toxic. We've literally got about 5 minutes. Not much time at all, is there? I think Umaga will go into the Hall of Fame this year. This is going to be a good match. Alba and the tag champs not. Do you think dog collar matches shouldn't happen in wrestling? Because if you think about it, Brody had that and he passed away, and Jay had it and he's passed away. Big time backs. I mean, if they passed away because of the matches, then I would say yes, but they passed away for unrelated reasons. Big time backs that said, if I was trying to get into UFC, where would I start? I am one of those fans that tries to get into it, but it's not grabbed me. Where do you start? Watch it. I sort of feel like you can easily say, oh, watch this, watch that, and all these types of things. But the truth is, if you're watching the shows, the current shows, and it's not grabbing you, maybe it's just not for you. Bit like if someone was to watch like wrestling and they're like, I don't really like it. I mean, I can tell them to watch Undertaker Shawn. I can tell them to watch, Royal Rumbles and stuff like this, but sometimes wrestling just isn't for them, and sometimes like mixed martial arts just isn't for people as well. I would say try and watch maybe the pay-per-view this weekend. I mean, it is a pay-per-view. Maybe don't overdo it and don't watch loads. Just watch like the big main card or something. And or I'm sure there's plenty of free fights that you can check out on the UFC website. So you could just watch some free fights. But again, I sort of feel like rather than saying watch this match, watch this fight, watch that fight, probably better to just watch fights and see if it appeals. Because the truth is, the average fight is going to be the average fight, isn't it? Just like the average wrestling match is going to be the average wrestling match. Just have to see if it's for you or not. I really like what Lyra Valkyria is wearing. I love... We were talking about this actually last night during... Was it Candice? I can't remember who was facing. I think it was Candice that was in action against EO. And we were saying that wrestlers have too much detail on their ring gear. They need to just have it a lot simpler because you can't see the detail on TV. And I feel like that's like Lyra has cracked it. Like she's got black gear and it's just got a few like slight red highlights on it. And then she's just got bright red boots And it really stands out. And it looks really classy. And it looks really good. And it can be like a look that she's sort of known for. Really like it. I really like what Lyra's wearing. It's just simple. It's effective. It's not too cluttered. I think it's really good gear. We praised last week what Britt and Jamie Hayter were wearing, and I really liked their gear as well. That looked quite impactful. It had a bit more going on, in all fairness, than Lyra's, but Lyra's is just simple but effective. Roxanne is in the ring. Kicks coming in by Gigi. Mr. Quake said wrestling is about having fun. It's about characters, stories, and personalities. Kick out by Roxanne. Do you think Cyril Gane opening as favorite is a surprise? Yeah, I think it's a surprise. I don't know how long it'll stay that way. Is this running over? Yeah, they normally do run over. Allowing Dom to enter the Rumble. Doesn't WWE and Adam Pearce realize that Dom runs the yards in prison? The Rumble is a walk in a park in comparison. Well said. Well said. Looking for a suplex. Roxanne up in the air, lands on her feet. Back elbow by JC. Roxanne goes down on one knee. Against the ropes goes JC, looking for a clothesline. Love that. That reminds me again of Bianca and Rhea when they kind of collided into each other during the Rumble the other year. Tag, in comes Gigi. Clothesline by Lyra. And again. Lovely kick to the back. Look underneath. Step up into Guri. Lovely suplex by Lyra as well. Lyra going to the outside, climbing up. Is perched. Oh, Cora Jade. Cora Jade comes out. Cora Jade comes out. She pushes Lyra off the top. That's going to cost them the match, you would imagine. Oh, she goes over and tags in Roxanne. There's press by Roxanne. Shots coming down by Roxanne. Crossbody to the outside by Lyra. That tag, that was a big tag to get Roxanne into the ring. Lyra and Cora Jade are brawling to the back. Looks like that's going to be a feud. This is big trouble for the champ, innit? The champ now finds herself alone with the two women that she's going to be going up against at Vengeance Day. Oh, JC kicks Gigi. JC kicks Gigi by mistake. Russian leg sweep. Russian leg sweep. Kick to the midsection by Roxanne. Rez goes over. Code Reds. And Roxanne gets the win on Gigi. Giving us a little glimpse as to maybe what we might be getting at Vengeance Day. So Cora interferes and costs Lyra. They go brawling off. It leaves Roxanne in the ring, alone with Toxic Attraction. JC kicks Gigi, and Code Red wins it for Cora Jade. Bit of arguing going on in the ring. I can't stand Roxanne's theme song. That's a really good point, actually. That definitely could be better. The accident kick spot was pretty good for them. Tony Khan did an interview regarding WWE sale. He said he's interested and he's not afraid to go into deep pockets. Says this main priority is AEW, but would be interested in sale talks. Right. We are done. Weird stream. Really, really weird stream. Not a usual stream at all. Normally we would try and have a lot more fun with the show, but obviously on this occasion, just close to impossible. What with the news breaking during the stream. Obviously thoughts with Jay Briscoe's family and that whole situation. Obviously we should be back as normal tomorrow. I think it's just like the shock of it. As I said, this one's very similar to Brody. What with Brody passing away and no one being prepared for it. Like, I must admit, I was quite confused. Like, when people were coming in, you're thinking, like, is this real? Is it fake? Then I was trying to think, when did we last see them? Was there any reports of an illness? And then, of course, you hear the news that it was a car accident. Just awful. Awful. So, yeah, apologies that the stream was not the most fun, but I'm sure people understand that in light of the news, it was never really going to be. But we'll try and be back normal tomorrow as we do AEW. And, just, stay safe, look after yourselves. And awful news. Awful news. Bye for now.